Today on the program, our focus is going to be on the new ECOWAS Common External Tariff. Now, recently, leaders of the 15-nation economic community of West African states agreed to implement a single customs tariff regime from 2015 in an effort to accelerate economic integration and harmonize customs charged on imported goods. Now, to discuss this on the program, I'm being joined by Obiora Madu, an international trade consultant, and Rashid Adegbenro, the Acting Director General, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Good morning.
Well, let's get a clear idea of what this common external tariff is all about.
Okay. If I may take the first shot, the Common External Tariff is an integral part of the ECOWAS integration program. At the heart of the establishment of ECOWAS is a program to integrate almost all areas of relationship within the sub-region. And that has spanned into free movement of people, common passport, a common currency which is still under discussion, a common tariff, and what might eventually evolve in the education program is an economic union. The epitome of this integration program will be political union, similar to what we have in the European Union, SADC in South Africa, SEMA in Central Africa, and the MERCOSUR in the Latin America, United States axis.
Right. So now, looking at the framework of this common external tariff, now, is it implementable?
Thank you. The answer is yes and no. It's implementable if the political will is there.
Political will from who now? The
Well,
countries involved?
From the countries involved, because, I mean, he talked about part of the integration process was also the free movement of people and goods. But indeed, I do not know how free the movement of people and goods have been since that came up. That's why I say the answer is yes or no. If the political will is there, and then there's also a common objective. Because even the CET, as we go ahead, you will find out that a nation can benefit while a group of people like man will suffer, and the rest of them. So that's what I'm saying. And it's so strategic to economic development that I think that countries are supposed to clearly look at the strategies without just simply swallowing its line, hook and sinker. In the EU, the UK said, no, we're not willing to give up our pound sterling. And they held on to it. So it's running parallel with the euro. So it's implementable.
But then they have strong fundamentals, which is the reason why they put that proposal forward and insisted that their own currency will run alongside the one that we currently have obtainable in the EU zone.
Yeah, okay. That example is from Europe. Let's come down here, for example. Nigeria, we have the largest economy in ECOWAS. If the CET goes on the way it is going, the nation stands to lose revenue. The manufacturers stand to suffer, and a whole lot of things. So, which means also, I think we also have the strength within this very particular region to say, yes, we accept, but can we make these few adjustments so that it doesn't hurt the industry so much?
So, in your view, we shouldn't really be looking at aligning ourselves right now with the CET. That's
not completely. I'm not saying we shouldn't align. I'm saying that there should be a few adjustments here to take care of some peculiar challenges that we have in the country. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we know that the tariff is meant to accelerate growth. Now, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has argued that the implementation of the CET is capable of wiping out the sector and reversing the modest achievement of the transformation agenda, which is ongoing and which we see. Do you share the same view?
100%.
Why so?
The reasons being, when you have a common external tariff, like it's presently being structured in West Africa, it's a tariff among unequal partners. We have 15 countries in ECOWAS plus Mauritania, making 16. But if you look at the region, we see that the countries are not on the same level of play in terms of industrial growth. Nigeria accounts for more than 60% of industrial establishments in the sub-region. And that presupposes that if any challenge will come in the restructuring of tariff in the region, Nigeria manufacturers will be the most challenged. The most challenged in that for the ECOWAS CET, we need to maybe step back a little bit and look at the background.
Okay.
ECOWAS at commencement had already espoused the philosophy of integration of a common market. And the common market, of course, is naturally driven by a common tariff. ECOWAS was lacking in implementing this program in its early stages of establishment. So the Francophone countries got together and were able to introduce a common external tariff among the Francophone countries called the ECOWAS Group. The ECOWAS Group has run this program for about 7 years before suddenly ECOWAS woke from its slumber and said it's time to embrace a common tariff in the region. The error that was made at the commencement was that the other countries who were not Francophone just embraced the ECOWAS regime of tariff, which was based on 4 tariff rates, 0, 5, 10, and 20. The question is that 20% was the maximum tariff on any product in the region. At that time in Nigeria, we had tariff as high as 75%, as high as 80%, concerning rice as much as 100%. So naturally, Nigerian businesses were challenged. If we are going to drop from the protection already offered to industries and businesses to the ECOWAS level of maximum of 20%, it will have rubbished investment in services, trading, and manufacturing here. So MAN advanced his case to the federal government of Nigeria that what was presented and accommodated by the ECOWAS was not a viable option for investors in Nigeria. On the basis of argument, Nigeria was able to ask for a moratorium of about 30 months in order to address certain internal structural constraints like infrastructure, governance, and things like that. There's a pause through. That 30 months moratorium expired December 2007. Our situation now is either at par or slightly below the level we were in 2007. So the challenges are still there. And unless we address these challenges, it will be extremely difficult for businesses to operate at that low level of tariff exposure. So
in all of this now, from what you've just said, that means the 2015 time frame which ECOWAS now has is not going to be a realistic time for us.
I would say it's doable, just like Madu said, all things being equal.
But we don't want all things being equal. We want the situation to be convenient for everybody concerned, because the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria are making a genuine case here, and it's in the best interest of even the consumers as well. So if we don't have a situation where it seems to be beneficial for all concerned, then we really shouldn't even be thinking that a 2015 deadline is implementable.
You see, in any restructuring, there are gains and there are pains. It's a natural flow. If you go the way of the common external tariff, of course, there are pains that have been identified. On the basis of that, MAN had advanced arguments that a 5th tariff regime should be created in the region. And it took almost 5 years or 7 years of negotiation before the other countries in the region accepted Nigeria's position. We had proposed a 50% tariff as the 5th band.
Well, you said they're saying 35%. We'll talk more about that.
Eventually, on political decision basis, that 50% was dropped to 35%. And other 15 countries accepted 35%. What delayed implementation the last 2-3 years was what tariff lines will go into the 35%. That has been resolved now. With the adoption of the CET by the Summit of the Head of States last week in Dakar, Senegal, I think all is set for the implementation of the program. The gain that may come will be one, wiping away smuggling in the sub-region. Because if Nigeria has a tariff band of 50% on the product, and the same product is dropping in Cotonou or Togo ports at 10%, it's natural that the borders will have serious challenges. Smuggling will run. But if throughout the region you have the same tariff, the incentive to smuggle through ports with lower tariffs will naturally disappear. This might be a plus point for the Nigerian economy, and we have to support this potential benefit by making sure we scale up our development in our ports, particularly to ensure we meet the 48-hour target of clearing at the ports.